Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler, a podcast all about Aston Villa, the world's greatest football team. I have no idea how many people are going to listen, watch, whatever, but it might just be Crystal Palace fans saying hello. Look, I'm just going to, there's no point ranting and raving. You just got to be kind of philosophical about what we've just witnessed. As bad a performance as we've had under Unai Emery, maybe our worst, closing in on 3 years now under Unai. That was it. That was as bad as it gets. Clearly something isn't right. You can, you look at the noises that came after the Ramsey sale from some of the players, from Vidogani's tweet, and you sort of feel like, what's the deal here? And then you look at over the summer, and obviously, we're under UEFA restrictions because we've basically, we've been spending more than we were supposed to. Our squad cost ratio has been too high, 91%. We have to get it down to 70. We've had to sell a lot of key players, going back to Moussa Diaby. And it feels like now we're getting to a point where all those sales, it's difficult to keep on going. The way I would look at it is, Palace obviously are a team that our style just doesn't work against. It just doesn't. We keep losing to them badly. They bung up the middle, so we can't play through the middle. They go into a back five, so they go into a low block. We can't seem to play well against low blocks. Going all the way back to Sheffield United when we could have gone top of the league and conceded to Cameron Arch in the 85th minute and Zaniolo equalised in the last minute. You think of Drinsky Mostar when, a team that if they're in the Premier League would get 3 points maybe all year. Took until the last kick of the game to beat them with a low block. Brentford last week didn't ever look like we were going to score a goal in that. And today, again, a team that goes into a low block, but the difference between Palace and Mostar and Sheffield United is that Palace have such a brilliant counter-attacking capability. They do. And so when we can't beat their deep-sitting defence, they pounce on us at exactly the right moment. And then when they do, they bomb forward and they just find the space. And, I'll just quickly talk through the goals and then I'll sort of round up how things are feeling at Villa at the moment and talk a little bit about the transfers. First goal, look, Villa started fast. We had to try something to just go with the, as an attacking team. Marlon on the right didn't really do anything. I think he looked very predictable. I think when he tried to beat his man, it was pretty obvious what he was going to try and do. Easy for the fullback. Guessond, I'm not 100% convinced he's a left-sided player, but we'll see. I think he might have suited being on the right a little bit more because he looks a little less predictable than Marlon, maybe. And I wonder if he might just go out onto the right and try and fill that, what Bailey was good at in his one really good season. Rodgers is a 10. I don't know how many times I've spoken about this on this podcast. I feel like I'm just screaming it into the wind all the time about it. I've had so many people push back on me about it. I don't understand why so many people think he's a number 10. What is it that other people are seeing that I'm just what is it I'm seeing? Because every time I feel like I see him playing that 10 role, he doesn't retain the ball in the same way. And Asensio does. It's why I call it the Asensio role. Because his nature is to take on players and to, gamble, try and find a clever pass or whatever. And it, and then when you've got that side by side with Ollie Watkins tonight, did he hold the ball up once? Watkins isn't his best ability as a striker is not to hold the ball up. So this is why, when I look at Rodgers and Watkins playing so close together, I look at the two and I think, are either of you going to retain the ball consistently? And how many times tonight did it just go to Watkins, bounces off him, goes to Rodgers, it just doesn't control it. And I think Rodgers looked a lot better when he went out left. And Buendia, fair play to him. You know, I said multiple times in the last couple of days, he's been at Villa for 4 years. I mean, what more? Surely we've moved beyond that now. You know, he was designed to come in and improve the Dean Smith team. But in fairness to him, what Buendia showed tonight was just some, like, it's very basic, but just some hunger. You know, like a real will to win the ball and to try and create something, and not kind of just laconically walk his way through the game because he thinks he can just do whatever. So, yeah, it was fair play to Buendia, really. But like I said, Watkins and Rodgers, I don't see it. I went to Chelsea away last season, and that was it for me. 3-0 away. Every time the ball went forward to Rodgers and Watkins, bounces off Rodgers, bounces off Watkins every single time. And then if they're not retaining it, well, then it puts your defense under pressure because the ball comes straight back at you. And this is why I've been saying ad nauseum and getting the squad up all the time and its tactical pattern and all that, and saying the Asensio role. And that's why Asensio went into that position last season and Rodgers went out right, because Asensio retains the ball. Yeah, I mean, I think Rodgers is an absolutely fantastic player, and I think Watkins is a great striker as well. But at the moment, particularly Rodgers, I think, is just losing it, like losing the ball all the time. Like, and so yeah, but like, I'll just quickly go over the goals then. First goal comes into Mateta. What does he do? Holds the ball up. Do you know what a difference it makes when you got a striker who just holds the ball up all the bloody time? It's absolutely perfect for the way Palace play. Because if they can't play through, they'll just knock it long, they'll hold it up. He'll hold it up, lay it off, and then they can bomb on with their two fullbacks. He's a fantastic striker, Mateta. They're a great side, Palace. Glasner's a brilliant coach. There's a reason he won the Europa League and the FA Cup. And the first goal, he holds it up, makes a good pass through to Kamada, another really good player, really good at timing his runs, really good at jumping on a player. Did it to McGinn a lot tonight. Cash follows him. Therefore, had he just held the line, Kamada would have been offside. So he followed him, and then Kamada gets away, and Bezo brings him down. I don't think there's loads Bezo could have done. And, you know, Bezo, does he have the physical profile of Emi Martinez? No. But the truth is that, you know, Bezo was not brought in to be our number one. And, you know, he's a very good backup option, and he is a good keeper, but it's Martinez goes tomorrow, we're going to have to get a replacement. We just are. And if Diogo Costa is it, well, great. I'll be happy enough with that. But yeah, first goal, and then it's penalty, and then Mateta scores as ever. And then from there, just easy for Palace. They looked sharper, fitter, confident. Their shape was just dragging us all over the place. And we just looked a bit like it's just not there. The energy's not there. And then second goal, you know, started the second half well. I think Buendia added something, at least a little bit of, like, you know, Sunday league fight. Yeah, second goal, Matty Cash, 5-yard pass to Daniel Marlin, and he misses it. And then from there, Palace just go forward. There's still lots of opportunities for Villa to clear the lines and sort it out. Konsa with what looked like an attempt to pass it when he was clearing it, straight into Gahey. And what a finish. I mean, maybe some questions about Bezo's positioning for it, but 2-0. Cash has not had a great start to the season. No, he hasn't at all. I don't quite understand why he's on corners. That's interesting decision. I don't know if Austin McPhee's gone to Portugal full time now or something, but yeah, odd. But like I said, you know, I don't want to get on Villa players. You know, there's just no point going full Goldbridge and everything. And, you know, these players, they are, you know, human beings at the end, but it's just objective reality that Cash has not started this season well. He's really hasn't. I think he'll improve, and I think this team will improve. But then third goal, just a long throw in header. Again, you're lacking that physical presence of Martinez, you could say. And then lo and behold, who scores? Ismail Assar. And then you see the bench, threadbare. You see the general first 11 didn't look great. Yes, we're missing Onana and Kamara. They're really big misses. Barkley, you could argue as well, is another miss. But other than that, there's not a lot of players missing. I can see a lot of comments coming in. I'll get to them in a sec. Please do subscribe if you're new to this. It'd be very nice if you subscribed. At least that would cheer me up a little bit. But to look at it in the context, yes, Crystal Palace clearly just have it over us. Their style, we don't mesh with it well at all. That's for Emery to sort out. In the next week or two, his international break, a few of these players are going to be off an international break, which I think is worth mentioning. These are international level players. So they're a lot better than what they've shown for the first 3 games of the season. And if there's something from the summer that's bothering them all, if that's what it is, I don't know, but if it is, we'll get over it and just get on with your job. I mean, to look at it, and so we've got a top class manager, we've got a top class squad and player, and we it's on them now as a collective to sort it out, and it's really on Monchi tomorrow to try and fix some of the squad issues. And I think just as a little cherry on the cake here, David Ornstein reporting Marco Asensio set to take off shortly on a flight to Istanbul ahead of a permanent transfer from PSG to Fenerbahce. 29-year-old PSG attacker spent second half of last season at Aston Villa, and AVFC pursued again, but he's Fenerbahce bound. Interesting. Don't quite know why it took so long for that deal to go through. I don't know why I just didn't join Fenerbahce 2 months ago if that's where he was destined to go. I don't know I don't know whether this Paqueta link has emerged because Aston Villa have got the sense we're not going to get Asensio back. Maybe we're just not able to offer the wages that Fenerbahce have decided to offer him. And that sort of sums it up, really, the situation that we are in. We have broken financial rules of UEFA for the last few years by our squad cost ratio being too high. We're now paying the price. We've paid a £9 million fine. Effectively, our transfers are we have to sell more than we can buy this summer, and that is really, really challenging. I can see a lot of people are on Monchi's case. Yes, in time, we might look back on this. We might look back on January. We might look back on a few things and say, actually, yeah, made some really poor shouts. But I don't know. I don't know whether that's just jumping the gun. And I feel like it's too immediate to really criticize that. We need more time to probably just take it in and look at it and think, right, what has happened here? Because in fairness to him, he's had to deal with PSR situation of last year, having to sell Douglas Luiz and do a mad deal with Juventus, and deals with Chelsea with Kellyman, and deals with Everton with Robinham and Lewis Dobbin. We've clearly had to work quite smart with PSR, and now with SCR, this is as hard a job as I think any sporting director has in top level football at the moment. Because if we break the rules again, we very we will be banned from UEFA competition, and that we simply can't afford that to happen. It's really difficult. And it feels like that has bled into that feeling has bled into us as a fan base. It's bled into the players, and maybe a sense that people want the players themselves want fresh challenges, fresh people around them, something new and different, and we're not able to provide that at this very moment in time. And maybe tomorrow, look, I know Lindelof is coming in as a backup centre back. I mean, I personally think that's fine. Look, 2-year deal. I think in an ideal world, we'd have signed JD Camvo, brought him in, and then he could have, worked with Konsa and challenged Konsa and eventually overtaken Konsa. We can't pay the 27 million euros or pounds that Crystal Palace have just paid. We can't. So interesting now, because what exactly can we pay tomorrow? I don't know. I dare say Monchi's going to be up all night now. He's going to be up 48 hours. We'll probably look at his head and see he's regrown a load of hair. It's like, I didn't know. I thought you lost hair when you're stressed, but he said he grows it. So yeah, really hard not to feel quite despondent after that game. It really is, and to just feel a little bit perturbed by the summer. But this is still a good squad. It's a lot better than what it's shown so far. And we are just going to have to get a ridiculous 1-0 win with a deflected goal of John McGinn's, giant derriere maybe, and that's what will do it for us. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to look at things being positive at the moment. It is, and yeah, I'm not quite sure where the season's going to go just yet. I think we still need to see more of it. And as I said, this is a team with international players. It's a team with a great manager, and they've got to show what makes them, show why Emery's won so much before and why, Villa. So many of these players have been so good in recent years. It could be the case that playing for 3 years under Unai's methods, obviously that can lead to a certain level of, human beings by their nature need something new quite often. And I think maybe it was at a point this summer where ideally we would have changed up the squad quite substantially. Unfortunately, we've not really been able to do that. And, maybe there's also a comparison to when Tottenham didn't sign anybody in the summer after, I think it was after their Champions League final, and things, went very, very stale very quickly there. Emery's working in a difficult situation. He is, but I'm sure a lot of people are not enjoying listening to this or watching this. But you just talk about objective reality and the way things are, and things at the moment are looking a little bit, I think in the past when Villa lost badly under Unai Emery, we'd come back and we'd be fine. We'd come back with a big win. At the moment, it's looking a little bit like, where's it coming from? And like I said before, it's on these international top players and this manager to fix it. And it's on Monchi tomorrow to try and work some magic and try and replenish the squad in a manner that will enable us to at least, really challenge for the Europa League and finish as high as we can in the Premier League. Difficult. It's difficult. I'll just look at a couple of the comments. I see a lot have come in. I mean, oh my God. Colin Bunn, good to see you. Worst ever. Yeah, I think that's our worst performance under Unai Emery. Yeah, I think that's worse than I think it's worse than the United game, although the United game had a lot more on it. I think the United game was an absolutely terrible performance. And just on Emi Martinez, just that game reminded me of him. He wants to go. And I said it 2 months ago, didn't I? I said, if a bid comes in, we should just sell, because if he wants to go, then why keep him around and use that money to rebuild and keep going? And yes, he's extremely difficult to replace, But if Villa can get like the Porto keeper Diogo Costa in, for instance, but then that's fine, because what that is then is a 25-year-old who's going to be on half the salary of what Emi Martinez is on, and Emi's he's on big wages. We need to clear the wages, and he's not getting any younger. He's 32, going on 33. I'd ideally not like to lose him, but in the situation we're in, I'd fine. I mean, just make sure we can, but we have to ensure we get the right replacement, and just hope that tonight's performance and the start of the season hasn't put off anybody. Black Country Villain, good evening. Absolutely disgraceful. Yeah, it wasn't great. Stephen Jordan, like a few players that got us promoted a few years ago in old squads. Yeah, there's a case to be made that it feels like more changes have needed to be made in recent years, but we've been so hamstrung by PSR, and this goes right back to the Purslow Gerrard era of all them salaries we were handing out. Could you look at Monchi and say, did we gamble it all on getting Champions League with the loan signings we made in January, with the Marlon signing? What's his salary? Like, are there question marks over that? In time, we might look at it and say, yeah, but for now, I think it's a little too hasty to say that, but we'll see. Duncan Kilburn reminded me of Fulham away in November 2022. Yeah, it had a, that we got a red card that night, but I think the good thing in contrast to that is that we have a top manager in place compared to what we had then. Yeah, look, like I say, you never know this squad. We might get, I look at Everton away in 2 weeks and just assume Jack Grealish and Iliman and Jai are going to score and do stuff against us. That's the mode of mind I'm in right now. But at the same time, Villa might just turn up, and if we turn up and we're just defensively solid, if maybe Kamara or Onana, if one of them, please God, can get back quickly, and then help double up with cash on Grealish, maybe that can lead us then to get goals on the breakaway and that kind of a thing. That's how I sort of think we might have to approach that game. Paul Wolfenden needs something to happen tomorrow to reignite the club. Yeah, it feels like a signing would help. Very difficult to do. But I think it was earlier, one report from Telegraph. I'm sorry, I've completely forgotten the name of who it was, but they said that Villa might be a lot busier than usual on the final day. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of big loans and an attempt to make an ambitious signing. Lucas Paqueta, I would absolutely love it. I think he'd be a perfect player for the way Unai plays. He'd be perfect in that 10 role. He'd retain the ball. He'd link up play brilliantly. He's exactly the type of player we need in that position. But I can't see how that deal works. I don't understand why West Ham would accept that deal. £5 million loan with an obligation at the end of the season. I mean, why? Why would they sell him? I don't get it. Unless they themselves have some sort of PSR issue that they're looking ahead to, but I don't get it. I don't know why they would. So, Melty shirts, so deflating, still no leadership, constant messing up and then just shouting at other people sums it up. Yeah, he's got a track record of doing that sometimes when he makes mistakes and shouts at other people. I've noticed that. It's on some of the leaders in the squad, like Conser and Mings and Powell and people that to grab hold of everyone. They just need to get together in the next couple of weeks, all talk it out, figure out what the deal is together, and work their way out of this. And I remember every level of football has this. I remember playing myself in a team that we used to win all the time, and then for some bizarre reason we went on a 7-game run where we couldn't hit a barn door, and every pass would go out of play or whatever, and it was just you sort of work your way out of it, and then eventually you do. And that's maybe just hopefully what Villa are going through at the moment, having had a difficult summer, a difficult start to the season, and maybe we just get a big win somehow, a solid fought draw, and start to edge our way into the season. And maybe it just takes time for us to get going. That's the only way I can sort of try to look at it. Popper Maboya. I'm not sure what Emery's trying to do. Whatever it is, the player's not with him. Yeah, it just. I'm sure the players are still there. It feels like something's. It was an odd performance. It was odd. Like that's very unusual for Villa under Emery to have played like we did in the Gerrard era. Very odd. Yeah, weird. And like I say, the noises made after the Ramsey sale were odd. I did, because I think on this podcast we try to be positive. I don't like to sort of get into negativity and get, and we never like scream and shout and all that. But yeah, it felt like after that Ramsey said on one or two things said online by McGinn or Mings maybe, and then what Vidagani said, it felt very like, what does that mean? Like, what is that? It's really unusual. And one day we'll probably find out the next time the sequel to Waking the Giant. Gary Howlett, oh dear, Brave coming on tonight. Frankie was like a flashback to the Guard years. Yeah, thanks. I thought I would. There's no point hiding. I'm on when things are great and things go bad. You still got to be there through thick and thin, and try and just explain rationally what happened. And like I say, if there's any Palace fans watching, I think it's a shame you're not in the Europa League because I think there's a massive chance they'd have won it. I think they really could have won the Europa League, Palace. They're just a brilliantly coached side, and they're perfect to play against us. That five at the back, the deep sitting, we can't break that down. But the thing is, on the counter, they're so brilliant at it that it's real. We just seem to not have a team built to beat that. Duncan Kilburn, the season is still new, needs a fresh direction. Yeah, it does. It needs just an impetus, doesn't it? And maybe we'll get some of it tomorrow. We'll see. George, his other username. Is that you, George Linsky? I don't think so. 4 games without even scoring a goal. Shocking. What is the vision here? We are defending and attacking poorly. Yeah. It reminds me of that season. I think it was Graham Taylor. We didn't score a goal for like 4 games at the start of the season, and then Darius Vassell scored maybe against. I forget exactly who it was. It was Southampton or something like that. Leicester. I can't remember. I was in the stadium. I was in the Doug Ellis stand. I remember. But anyway, look, I'm not going. There's a lot of comments, so I'm definitely not going to be able to get all of them. I'm really sorry. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen so many comments. Beringer, Tyron Mings quotes are interesting. That might be to do with the Ramsey sale. Yeah, I don't know whether I don't know whether he said something tonight. I'm just quickly looking at a couple of comments. And again, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for commenting and engaging. And if you watch after this is live, please do comment and I'll get back to it. And if you're listening online, please do, send in your thoughts as well. I'm always really happy to hear it and try and talk about it. And, because as I say, I don't profess to be an expert. I'm just a Villa fan who watches it all the time. And, is really into it, and I like to engage with other people who are really into it as well. So yeah, just quickly looking at a couple of comments. Justin Bristol, I was going to take my son to watch the game here in Savannah, Georgia. Hello from GA, USA. Wow, Savannah, one of the most beautiful places in the world. But you're glad you didn't. That might be considered abuse. Yeah, well, if I was you in Savannah, I'd go and look at all the beautiful tropical scenery around where you live and go take it in and admire the stunning beauty of that state rather than watch Villa at the moment. Yeah. Lee, that slow build-up kills us, allows their defense to get organised, and then we are not able to break them down. I think this is definitely the issue against low block teams. I think we definitely have an issue sometimes of not being brave enough at just when they're out of shape, we can just just go at them and gamble and hit a ball over. And I know that Emery's, we're like a La Liga team. It's about control and possession. And if we try and take them on, sometimes we then are out of possession and they can hit us. But when we play a low block team, sometimes what does happen a lot is it just feels like we carry on playing as if we're playing against a team who are taking it to us, and then we kind of just end up looking at brick walls. And it's very similar to the Spanish national team. If you remember from about 2014 to 2021, maybe, until Spain won the Euros last time. What happened a lot with Spanish teams is that they would get the ball, but then they'd go straight back into the sort of tiki-taka style. And the opposition team would always get back into a strict defensive shape and always beat them on the break, like 1-0. That was really how Spain started to struggle, and it's only in the last year or two that they've got back. They won the Euros, and they still play that style, but they're a little bit more. There's just something a little bit different about them, a little bit more direct, maybe. They certainly don't just go straight back into that tiki-taka thing and allow the opposition team to go into shape. And obviously, I love the way Emery plays, and it is brilliant. It's done so much for us. But I think there's definitely some thinking to be done about when we play these low block teams, because it's too much of a trend now to feel like there isn't something we could try and do differently against it. Gans, I was arguing with a Newcastle fan last season, and he was right when saying our gamble for the Champions League season would fail. Should have spent more carefully. The season will be limited. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't at the moment. I think I'm going to need more. I'm going to need more time to figure out whether that was, really, really foolish, or whether that was a gamble worth making. I think at the time it felt like it, and I look back now, I still think it was. We came so close, but for an absurd decision at Old Trafford that just really cost us Champions League, didn't it? Yeah. Frankie, thanks for doing this after a game like that. Love from New York City. Look at all these Americans on. This is great. Thank you to all the US Villa fans commenting. Matthew L. Thank you so much. My sister lives in New York, so I know the city very well, folks. I tell you, shall I just do the whole thing in Donald Trump's accent, folks? I tell you, no word of a lie. Aston Villa, they're the best team in the Premier League. I watched them tonight, folks. They were tremendous. They beat Crystal Palace. The amount of people who are just listening to this and just wanted me to shut up. So I won't go on much longer. Thanks, I tell you, no word of a lie. So where are we? I am so taken aback and flattered by all these comments here. I'm really sorry that I can't read them all out. I'm really sorry, but thank you so much for doing it. And also, please do comment on Spotify if you're listening, Apple, and also comment on the YouTube channel after, and I will get back to it as well. Ray Murphy, going into Europe, this bench is scary. We don't look like a team who could win the Europa League with that bench. No. It doesn't help us that Kamara and Onana are injured already, and Barkley's been out for ages. I mean, look, what might happen is that in a couple of games' time, everyone's fit, and suddenly they're all back. But even Barkley's back. Hemmings, a young player, comes through, and it's exciting. Everyone's there. Everyone's on it. We play Burnley at home and win 3-0. And then suddenly it's like, right, okay, great. So, yeah. Keith Stewart, hi Frankie, abysmal performance once again, needs overhaul. Damn and blast PSR, sort of heartbeats, sheer disgraceful. FA cartel, it's corrupt to the very heart. Yeah, just it feels very difficult, doesn't it? It feels hard to compete, but the rules are the rules, I guess. And we, I'll always quote Jeremy Irons in Margin Call when he talks about how the music has stopped. What are we going to do about it? And I think that's the way to look at it. And we have to just things are the way they are, and we have to work our way out of it. And we have paid a lot of money to Monchi, his team, to work us through what is a very, very difficult situation. It is, but I'm sure they can. Well, I hope they can. But yeah. So look, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. It's gone 34 minutes. Please do subscribe. Please like. I know I say this and repeat this, but I kind of have to. Just to be able to keep this whole podcast going, to have subscribers really helps, and also means that I get to meet more Villa fans, and I meet you when I go out to Villa Park quite a lot now, and when I'm out watching Villa in pubs, and that's fantastic. So just such a brilliant thing. So please do subscribe, and if you're listening online as well, please like on Spotify. 5-star reviews on Spotify and Apple really help. But yeah, I mean, just to sum it up, awful day, bad couple of weeks. We still have a very good squad. We have a top manager, and it's on them now to fix it, and they will. And the truth is that tomorrow, last day of the transfer window, I think it's or on Monday, last day of the transfer window. It's on it's on Monchi and his team to try and help Unai to the best that we can within the restrictions that we're currently working under. And if Emi Martinez goes, well, thanks for everything, mate, but see you later. And hopefully we can replace him, properly. Hopefully. Anyway, thank you everybody for commenting, watching, and all that. And I shall bid you adieu. I know it's a bad night, but come on, let's keep the faith. We'll be all right. Up the mighty Villa.